can England win the Calcutta Cup? That is the question that we're going to be asking this weekend. The teams have just been announced, England versus Scotland, or shall I say Scotland versus England, because again, it's at the Murrayfield Stadium. I don't know why I say the Murrayfield, it's at Murrayfield. My name's Kieran, I talk everything rugby on this channel, just a guy hugely passionate about his rugby, absolutely loves it. And again, if you are new to the channel, if you see me looking to the left, it's just because I've got my monitor up there with all the players and stuff like that. I've got no notes and stuff like that. I'm just freestyling it as I like to do. But like I said, the teams have been announced. We're going to go through the England team first, then we'll do the Scotland team, and then what we'll then do is put a combined 15 if we have access to both teams and put them in to make a super team, what we'd have. So let's run through it. So loose head, we've got Ellis Genge as your hooker, Jamie George, and as your tight head, we have got Dan Cole. So again, the best way to remember it is loosey, lefty, righty, tighty. So I'm quite happy with that one. Again, Ellis Genge can come off the bench. I would have maybe preferred that, but I think England do need big ball carriers, and Genge is going to give you that every single game. He is the baby rhino. He's going to take it up to the line. He's going to make it hard day for the Scottish. And again, Jamie George, decent set piece. You know, he's good with his darts, and again Dan Cole's just there for stability. Again, I know talked about this in the previous episode that I put up and stuff like that. I do feel that because of that South Africa game, Borthwick is not going to start Marler and Cole together. He's going to keep them apart. That way he can keep a stable scrum and make sure that England's penalty is down. So on the bench, you've got Theo Dan, who's going to replace Jamie George. Again, they played together at Saracens, so I'm quite happy with that one. You've got Joe Marler and Will Stewart coming off the bench, so again, not a bad bunch. And again, the only thing I would say is Will Stewart's ball carrying is a bit hot and cold, but hopefully with a few more games and stuff like that and consistency, he just needs a bit of confidence. He does it for Bath really well, but again at international stage he does really need to step up a little bit, but that is where we're struggling. So onto obviously your second row, we've got Maro Itoje and Ollie Chesham. It is a partnership that is growing and is getting better and better. Again, I just feel like Ollie Chesham will need a few more years just to grow into his frame a little bit and be that enforcer kind of role. And it's just nice to see that Maro Itoje is actually playing kind of some of his best rugby at the moment. He hasn't played some amazing rugby for a long period of time, but he's starting to become the nuisance he is. You know when Maro Itoje is at his best, when he's causing havoc at the breakdowns, he's just getting in people's faces, shouting, that's when you know he's at his best. So yeah, then obviously we're on to our flankers and our number 8. So you've got Ethan Roots as your big number 6, who is having quite a really good championship. I did think that maybe with George Martin being fit, would go straight back into the team, but he's on the bench for this one. So Ethan Roots retains his starting position. Then you've got Sam Underhill, who again is just going to tackle, and he's just going to be an absolute menace. So yeah, I would not want to be in the back line for Scotland if Sam Underhill is on the pitch. And then probably the standout player, England's probably best player at the moment, is Bennell by a mile. Again, that try that he scored against Wales, he had no right to, but he took out 3 defenders and scored. So yeah, pretty unsettled kind of forwards from that, apart from obviously the front 3. Then moving on to the halfbacks, so we've got Danny Kerr starting at 9. Alex Mitchell is now out for the rest of the Six Nations down to a knee injury, I believe. So again, Danny Kerr has just got loads of experience. He's a sniper. He's just going to start. And it's nice to see that obviously Ben Spencer has now got his time. I did think years ago that he would have had a lot more caps underneath his belt because he's such a good player and he plays for Bath. I support Bath. I'm a Bath boy. So it's nice to see him actually get his time. And he's kind of one of those hybrid players. He can play fast tempo. His box kicking's amazing. He's a good tactical kicker. He's just an all-round player, so which is pretty good. And it should be a good impact off the bench. And then Mr. Reliable, George Ford. Again, with Owen Farrell not playing for England at the moment, because obviously his reasonings and stuff like that, I do not think that Borthwick would ever consume or think about putting Finn Smith as starting. It's just one of those things. He needs a reliable number 10 who's been there and done that, and that's what you're going to get from George Ford. He's going to pull the strings. Although with that said, Finn Smith is a very intelligent rugby player for such a young age, and he's very mature, so it would be nice to see him getting some game time. But if the game is very close, like a point, 2 points in it with 10 minutes to go, I don't think you could be getting him in there. But it's one of those things. You need to give him some caps, give him some experience, because he's going to have to learn one way. Then moving over to the centres, so Ollie Lawrence is back. How good is that? Like I said earlier, I'm a Bath supporter. Ollie Lawrence has been the difference in that Bath team. And for England, he's just a standout player next to Ben Earl. When these guys are having an all right game, they're still producing moments in the game where they're getting over it. And Ollie Lawrence is just getting over that line. He's making yardage. He's making offloads. He's making people make decisions. And he's such a good player. Now, is he a 12? I don't like him at 12. I think he plays his best rugby when he plays at 13. England kind of really need to look at that 12 option. We need to develop that in a little bit more. But with that said, outside him, you've got Henry Slade, who's got a good left boot, who's been there. He's a very, very intelligent player who can read defences really well. And that's why I think Slade's in the team. Because England are adopting this harsh sprint out the line Springbok defence system, you're going to need someone who's going to have to make the decisions very quickly, and Slade's an intelligent player, hence why I've done that, and they've played together, which is quite good. Now, obviously, moving on to your wingers and your fullback. So Elliot Daly is back in at 11. Again, Mr. Reliable. And I also think that one of the reasons why Elliot Daly is on the pitch is he's got that incredible big boot, that missile boot. So if you know you're 3 minutes out for the final whistle and you've got a shot at goal, he's on there. But he's also Mr. Reliable. He'll chase the ball, he'll catch it. He's been brilliant for England, so I don't see any problem with that one. Tommy Freeman, again, is turning into an international player. He's only had a few caps, but he looks at home at the big stage. He is a big unit. Northampton are looking at developing him into a centre, into a long-term thing, but he's really good. And the big change in it all is George Furbank is starting at 15, and Freddie Stewart's not even in the replacement squad. He's not even on the bench. So that to me suggests that maybe England are going to start to attack the Scots, because the Scots have got a very attacking game plan. They're very settled. They know what they do. They know the blueprint. They're a well-organised team. Unlike England are still trying to find their identity a little bit, but it's nice to see that obviously Furbank is, as fullback, and hopefully has a good game. I have been sceptical of him in the past because I don't think he's anything special, but in that Northampton team, he's doing really well. So, good for that. Again, just moving over to your replacements, I've run through the front three. Then you've got George Martin and Chandler Cunningham himself, who's going to be your locks, or your flankers and stuff like that, depending on how Steve Borthwick wants to run for it. So again, those players are just big impact players. I mean, Martin is just going to absolutely smash people, and Cunningham himself is just a big boy, an athletic big boy who can play number 8 as well as on the flanks and stuff like that. So I'm happy. Like I said, Ben Spencer is going to cover the bench for the scrum half. Finn Smith is going to be your number 10, and then you've got Manuel Feu Wabusu. Bit of a mouthful. I'm hoping he gets some game time because he's not really got much game time. It suggests to me that Borthwick doesn't necessarily what's the word, not respect but trust, that's the word, trust. Don't think he necessarily trusts him as much, hence why Daly's in front in starting. But hopefully we need that impact off the bench. Say like there's 10 minutes to go and you need a spark player, that's what we're going to do. So that's the England team. Going to run over to the Scottish team. So you got Schoeman, who's starting, which is just a big South African unit, but he's Scottish. George Turner and Xander Ferguson. So again, some decent players for Scotland. You got Grant Christ and Scott Cummins, which will be pretty good for them. And you've got Jamie Ritchie coming back into the team, which is quite good. Again, he'll just jump over the ball, call some penalties. Rory Darge is having a great one, and obviously is the captain. Bit funny that we've got co-captains, we've got vice captains. It's a lot going on with this. Like England have got their main captain and they've got 2 vice captains, and then Scotland's got 2 co-captains and a vice captain. I don't know, just maybe to confuse the referee as such. And then obviously you've got Jack Dempsey. So again, well settled pack, nothing really changes there. I expect them to be hitting the breakdown, making it an absolute nightmare for England, and just feeding on that. And then moving over to obviously the back line for Scotland, we've got Ben White, and the player who I'm excited to see, not only because he plays for Bath, but obviously he's probably the best talent in the world. I would argue that with his tricks and his ability to pull things out of it, like he knows that this defence is coming to come at him, and Finn Russell has got that kicking ability or anything, and he can just play that delayed pass or whatever. So he knows that's coming. So Finn Russell, is starting at 10. Then you've got obviously your centre partnerships, which I think, as an Englishman, I am quite concerned of, with Sonny I can't say the name, and then obviously you've got Hugh Jones. Now those boys are just big men, but very intelligent. They run decent lines, and they've been tearing England up for the last 4 years. And England really needs to get hold of these boys, because if they're getting over the game line and Finn's just starting to chuck passes left, right, and centre, and they stick, be a world of trouble. And then moving over to the back three, you've got Duhan van der Merwe, who, quite frankly, is an absolutely massive man. He reminds me of Johnny Bravo, but England need to put him down, otherwise he's going to cause problems. And last year he was just swerving in and out, and he had no right to, and it actually made us look really, really stupid. So Duhan's in there. You've got Carl Stein at 14, and then you've got Blair Kinghorn coming back, and again, he's a very, very good fullback. He's very, very intelligent, plays for Toulouse. So it's good to see him coming back. And then off the benches, you've got Ian Ashman, you've got Alex Hepburn, who used to be English and played for England, believe it or not. But obviously he's changed to Scotland. You've got Elliot McInerney Mills. You've got Sam Skinner coming off the bench. Andy Christie will be a handful. Again, plays for Saracens, and he'll be really good. You've got George Horn, you've got Ben Healy, and then you've got Cameron Redpath, who again plays for Bath, who's a very smart individual rugby player. So those are kind of the teams for Scotland and England. Now what we're going to do is put a combined 15 together. So I'm just going to pop it up on the screen now. So put Skoman as my loose head. We've got Jamie George, and then Zandler Ferguson as my tight head. Loose head, tight head. Yeah, that's it. Then I've got Mario Itoje and Grant Gilhurst as my locks, and as my kind of like flankers and number 8, put Ethan Roots in there, just because obviously he's starting, and he'll just be an absolute menace, and he's done really well. Got Rory Darge, again, Scotland co-captain, and he'll be getting in there, and I don't think you can look past Ben Hill. He's been outstanding at the moment. I have made a mistake. Finn Russell is meant to be in blue, and I've got him in red, so I do apologise. But we've got Danny Kerr as your 9. I just think with his experiences, and he can, play at a decent tempo, he's really good. And then Finn Russell, I think he just outshines George Ford. I'm a big George Ford fan, but I think Finn Russell's just much better. And then I've got the Scotland partnership. I was tempted to put Henry Slade at 13 instead of Hugh Jones, but I just think because of that partnership, and they play together for Scotland and they've done really well, I think you just keep together. I just don't think you break them up, and they can read each other really well. So that's it. And then obviously as my back three, I put Duhan van der Merwe at 11, Tommy Freeman at my 14, and Blair Kinghorn at my 15, because I just think he's a better fullback than Furbank. But obviously we have not seen a lot of Furbank. As replacements, we've got Theo Dan, Marler, Stewart, Martin, Cunningham South, and then we've got Horn, Finn Smith and Lawrence. So you can see the majority of those people coming off the bench at England. I do feel that England do have an advantage over Scotland over the backs, but remember, this is at Murrayfield. I think the conditions are dry, but obviously that can change, and it's going to be a very hostile place. England haven't won the Calcutta Cup in what seems forever, and I remember going back to when I first got into rugby, that England, it was a given, you would always beat Scotland. It's a bit like Italy, but times have changed. Scotland have won the last 4 now. It's about time that we get that Calcutta Cup back, but it should be a hell of a game. And I'm really interested in it. I do predict that the score's probably going to be quite a high one. I think it's going to be 29-28 final score, but then I could see it being really, really close, as long as it's not like the one that it was the other year. I want to say 2020. Yeah, 2020, just before COVID hit, where it was that game where it finished like 9-6, and it was just absolutely chucking down with rain, and they were just kicking it. It was just such a boring game, so as long as it's not like that. But yeah, that's the England team, that's the Scotland team, and yeah, that's my honest reaction on what I think is going to happen. And if you have enjoyed the video and you've stuck around to the end, I really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, and then what I'm going to do this weekend is I'm just going to try and do my initial reaction after each of the games, and kind of give you what I think and rate the players and stuff like that. But yeah, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.